Spiritual awakening, navigating the changing you. Where are you on this path, on this connection point of spiritual awakening? If you're listening to me, I know you're on the path. I know you are awakening or awakened. And so let's talk about it. Let's look at these spaces of us navigating the changing you. That's really what's happening, isn't it? That's really what's happening in spiritual awakening, is the space of us that's spirit based, because we're all human beings. We all have carnal flesh, human bodies. Yes, we're having this human experience, but our soul is eternal. Our soul is our spiritual connection point, our essence, the seat of our consciousness, if you will. When the spiritual space of ourselves starts awakening inside our flesh, inside our human, things change. Things change. The physical changes, our mental connection changes, our emotional connections change. The way in which we understand ourselves and the world around us changes, because a space of us that is our most sacred, expansive, vast space of being has shown up at a greater level. It is, we are more present in that connection point of ourselves. Okay? So spiritual awakening, think about the words, right? Spiritual awakening. You're awakening, I'm awakening, we're awakening in the spiritual connection of ourselves. And we're bringing that spiritual connection of ourselves into our physicality, into our humanness, into our drama spaces, into our trauma spaces, into our mundane, everyday ins and outs, ebbs and flows spaces. We're bringing our spiritual in. The spiritual space of you, it vibrates. It's everything's energy. Everything's energy. And so the spiritual spaces of you vibrate at a much faster flow rate. So the spaces of you that you might consider in the spiritual community, they like to talk about the shadow self and doing shadow work. And I have a really probably unique take on this, but those spaces of the humanness, if you will, are a lot slower flows. Okay, they're just denser, they're tighter, they're more gripped, they hold more control, they hold more manipulation, they hold less flow, because they're a slower vibratory state. It's not that it's wrong or not as good as the faster vibratory state. It's scientifically different. The energies in these spaces are just different. Allowing that without attaching judgment to it opens it all up. Opens it all up. So as we're allowing and having this spiritual awakening in our humanness, our energies are changing, and we're navigating the changing us. And we're all navigating differently because we're all changing in different ways. But some of the big, key factors, similarities that we could probably all agree on, we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about navigating them. So like friends and family and how that changes, right? Work, a lot of times work, career, that can change. Your passion, your purpose can change as that spiritual side of you is expanding into your now. The way in which you love yourself, look at yourself, judge yourself, protect yourself, understand yourself, all of that changes as well. The role of your energy is just in a new alignment when you are awakening spiritually. It's really cool because spiritual awakening in a lot of senses, a lot of ways, I guess, could be considered, like New Age, right? The topic of a New Age understanding, New Age teachings. And so a lot of people that follow like religious standpoints, religious teachings, they don't like the New Age teachings, and the New Age people don't like the religious people. So whatever, religious teachings. But it's interesting because they're both basically talking about the same way. They're just same thing. They've just packaged it in different ways. And so the understanding of the spirit awakening, you know, birthing in the now, for me is very similar to the teachings of Yeshua when he said, that which is born of flesh is flesh, that which is born of spirit is spirit. Marvel not, I say unto thee, you must be born again. And I do understand deeply, clearly, the teachings in the religious side of it on being born again and what that means for that specific space. But I do think that there are interpretations available that are not always allowed and or looked at in what was being said by Yeshua. And that's what I love to connect into, is my heart and my understanding and my knowing with my higher mind and higher heart of what was being conveyed in maybe a more vast interpretation or open flow interpretation. And so that which is born of flesh is flesh. That's just common sense. If you're born of your mother's womb in a human body, you are a human. You are biologically made up as a human. And that is your flesh-based, carnal-based vessel state of existence, you know, how you be you and all that that entails. And that which is born of spirit is spirit, in the sense that those are two very different spaces of origin of where you live from, how you see yourself, what you decide to direct your life from and as. If you're coming from flesh, so it's going to be very carnal based. It's going to be very desire based, fill the need kind of thing, you know? You're going to be, yes, interpreting things and navigating life experiences from a much more separated self viewpoint when you're coming from flesh. But when you're coming from your spirit, which everybody has both, and it's just the journey of consciousness to remember the both and balance the both if you happen to be in a human existence right now. And there are many beings hearing me right now that are not in human form, so they're all getting a good laugh at that sentence. But it's the balance of the flesh and the spirit, and realizing you are born of both. But you are spirit first, and you are spirit always. So spiritual awakening isn't just happening in this lifetime for you. You were an awakened understanding of yourself as spirit prior to becoming flesh. And then you became flesh, and you began to forget the origin essence of your being. And you began the journey of exploration from a new vantage point, this specific lifetime that you chose and you designed to explore and remember yourself as spirit in flesh. And so the marvel not, I say unto thee, you must be born again. It's the inevitability of consciousness. It is the evolution of consciousness. Consciousness is eternal. Souls are eternal. So the born again factor, the wake up again factor, the remember again factor, the reconnect deeply with the I am that you are factor is what the journeys are all about. And each wake up point, because you can have multiple wake up points inside of one lifetime. And there'll be some who will live an entire lifetime and have no wake up points, really. And there will be some who will have one main wake up point. And all of that works. Because why? Because every soul, every space of consciousness is eternal. And we're just continually exploring and finding more spaces of that remembrance and expanding it further. And as each increment, each variation point, each human being, each unnamed and unseen being, that's all interconnected. It's all interconnected. It's all one consciousness that shoots out into variation points in order to explore and expand. As one increment, one person, one being wakes up to a new level of understanding of itself, that ripple effect moves through the field of all consciousness that all are a part of. And every space of consciousness has the opportunity and the availability to shift into in some way into a higher flow state of their being, incrementally or vastly, however it's playing out for that space of consciousness. But it's all interconnected. So the be the change you want to see in the world is actually a very powerful understanding to hold and lean into, because when you are allowing the self-work in your own being, you're allowing the change in your own being, inevitably it flows through the entirety. And then the spaces, the other variation points, the other beings, the other people, the other lifetimes, they get to be pinged, if you will, like a little bit of a remember, hello. And what they do with that is totally up to them in the human aspect, because there's free will involved in this plane of existence. All consciousness has the opportunity to remember and expand. So the role of the energy, the role of the individualized space of energy that you're being, I'm being, we're all being, begins to shift and change as the awakening comes in. And the role of the way you understand this, the way that you contemplate, ponder, play with the idea of energy and ascension and consciousness and unity consciousness, when you start to work with that concept and that understanding and think about it and envision it and allow it inside your, processes, that plays a massive role in your awakening. Just pondering and thinking about the process itself and what's happening plays a massive role in your awakening process and your ascension process. I always love to say this phrase, the way you understand yourself, what you think about yourself, and what you think about the world around you are the key factors to the way you will experience this lifetime that you've designed. And so as you change the way you think about yourself, maybe you open it up a little bit, maybe you trust yourself a little bit more, maybe you follow your passion a little bit more, maybe you love yourself a little bit more, maybe you heal a fear or two, maybe you release some judgment, whatever. And you start to see yourself less and less as the separated self, as this one particular life, as this you in the mirror. And you start to understand that's one variation point of your vastness, and that you're this eternal being, that you're a space of eternal consciousness, and you're having a now as this variation point. And you start to play with that more and more, it starts to open up your flow. And then that opens up the flow of your reality. So spaces that were kind of stuck or kind of cycling and repeating themselves, they all of a sudden shift, they change, they open up, they flow differently, they move differently. And this is because you opened up. It's because you decided to flow differently. You allowed yourself to flow differently. You saw yourself differently. You understood yourself differently. You imagined yourself differently. You lived from in that alignment of that difference. It's very important. Spiritual awakening, that's what this is. It's the understanding of that spirit awakening in that flesh. And then the person that's waking up is choosing to step into that new space of themselves they've awoken to. So they're no longer speaking like the person they used to speak as, and they're no longer thinking the thoughts exactly as they used to think them about themselves and the world around them. But they're opening it up. You're opening it up. I'm opening it up. And the reflection opens. And the reflection is everything in your daily life. So your finances, your health, your friends, your loves, yes, where you live, where you go, what you do, how you do it, your freedom level, it's all reflective. And there are many who come in with predetermined, all come in with predetermined alignments that they set up for themselves. But there are some that come in with predetermined alignments that many would at first say, why? Why would you choose that? Why would you design that? And there's so many reasons why. It can be connected to past life spaces. It can be connected to energies that you're agreeing to help move. It can be connected to lineage lines that you're agreeing to end the cycle on, end the programming continuing to run in that direction. And in order to do that, this is the design that you knew would best suit you. Dropping judgment and coming in with an open mind, a loving heart, and a pure intent allows all of the energies to move, no matter why, no matter what, no matter when, no matter how, no matter who. Open mind, loving heart, pure intent, trust yourself, allow the space, keep that open-mindedness flowing and that open heart flowing so that the energy can flow. Don't grab it, don't try to manipulate it, control it, judge it, condemn it, force it. Just if you can, you lean, if it resonates with you, you lean into that knowing that you designed it masterfully to be exactly what you need it to be. Yes. And when you can look at your life, no matter what it looks like, and say, I designed it masterfully to be what it is right now, because this is exactly what I need it to be, because I'm going exactly where I need to go, and I'm going to be there exactly when I need to be there. Then the energies are so open, everything can start to move. But when we're fighting with it, when we're gripping it, and when we're getting into a battle with it all, and we're trying to force it to be something it's not, we kind of begin to create a rut, and that energy just keeps cycling and cycling and cycling because we have not gained clarity yet of the mastery of the self, and we're being mastered by the reflection. So spiritual awakening is that mastery of the self rising. It's the mastery of the remembrance of the I am having a now, landing in the now, expanding in the humanness. So the family and the friends, it's going to change. It's inevitable. It's going to change. And I kind of give this teaching in all the classes. I teach different classes. I teach courses. I teach one-on-one clients. And I tell everybody the same thing. Relationships, whether it's your child, your parent, your sibling, your friend, your lover, relationships, co-worker, all relationships go through recalibration process as all are being given the opportunity to awaken, to shift, to change the way they look at themselves and the world around them. And so whether it's a small change going on in somebody's life or a big change going on, it's going to then send out, it's like a system update to all connective relationships in your life, that there's a shift in frequency in you. And therefore, all connection points, it's a part of your reflection. Relationships are a part of your reflection. They're your outer world. All of them are then given the opportunity to reset and recalibrate and realign with you. But many times, more than not, that process can come off as upheaval. It can come off as chaos or frustrating because you have all of a sudden somebody close to you in some way who is having some type of issue with you. And 99.9% of the time, the recalibration is totally natural and coming from a space of love in which both are being given the opportunity to reset themselves at a higher flow state because the expansion is happening. But it can also have, and usually does, spaces of fear that are being cleared, because any time anyone awakens spiritually and shifts their understanding of themselves and the world around them, they're going to heal some type of fear. They're going to heal some type of fear. They're going to clear some type of fear. A lot of times the anger, the frustration, the chaos, the turmoil that can come inside of that relationship reset is coming from people dealing with some type of fear. So maybe the spouse is having a hard time because the other is expanding and opening up spiritually, and they're not doing it yet. They're not in that part of their journey yet. So they see that change and it scares them because you're not who you were. And they didn't sign on knowing you were going to change and open up and become this different person and have different beliefs. And all of a sudden you're different and they're scared that they're going to lose you. And people, when they get scared, animals as well, they defend themselves, they act out. A lot of times, some of the ugliest things can be said coming from the deepest spaces of fear. And I've walked this myself, so I'm speaking from experience. But every relationship that I have had that has had these experiences of recalibration, and I've seen it so many times now, the ones that, like my husband is one of them, and I've been married for 36 years, and we're happy. We're like a happy that most people don't even ever get a glimpse of. I'm really grateful for that. But we've had a couple recalibration moments because he was scared, because he thought I was going to divorce him or leave him because he wasn't into what I was into and I wasn't into what he was into anymore because I had changed and I had grown. But we found a way to recalibrate to one another that works really well for us. And we love each other deeply and we're very interactive in each other's lives, but we like different things. And that's totally normal. He's very grounding for me. I'm sure I am something for him as well that is balancing him. But I think that's also a way to understand how that availability of growth is there and everybody can rise if they choose. But fear will make people say and do things because they're afraid. They're afraid they're going to lose you. They're afraid you don't care for them the way you used to. They're not going to, be as interesting to you anymore or whatever because you are different. You changed your belief structures or whatever. So family and friends, all these relationships, they go through recalibrations. Even before spiritual awakening, there's recalibrations because everything's always energy. It's always energy resonance. And so when the resonance shifts in one space, in one person, every single person connected in some way or another to that person who's shifted is given the opportunity to remain aligned with you. And so sometimes that's a big shift on their part, and sometimes that's a small shift on their part, or sometimes it's just their availability to allow. And that's a shift in itself, right? But they're not necessarily changing their beliefs to meet you where you're at. They're just allowing you to be where you're at. They're staying where they're at. But that allowance on their part is their own way of shifting. Does that make sense to you? So with spiritual awakening, you're going to have relationships recalibrating. And now some of them aren't going to make it. I get that. I see that. I have clients that have not made it. They've, went through divorces and or they don't really have as much interactive connection with certain family members. They still are loving, they still are kind, they still are cordial at all possible. Sometimes that's out of the person's hands if the other person is not there yet, and that's all part of a journey again. But most of the people that I work with, they find a way to be able to shift and allow their loved ones to catch up and not necessarily turn it into a hardship, a turmoil, a difficulty, but finding ways to allow peace and balance to land and love to rise. And so I see this all the time. And I have seen so many. I have had more clients on the brink of divorce or separation, and they are happier now than they've ever been because we walked through the recalibration and they didn't feed into the old programming of, societal structure, a lot of cultural teachings where if this happens, then you do this. If they say this, you do that. And they didn't feed into that. And they stayed very, very present. And they came from their heart and they felt into the spaces and they navigated with such purity that they were able to reset into a vibrational connection with one another at a new level that was coherent and harmonic. So this is happening more and more because we're no longer kind of dulled out and desensitized and accepting these distorted programs of just throwing away relationships and not being available to really be present and anchor into healing, wholeness, and shift. And we're leaving that. Now, there are some spaces, like I mentioned earlier, where the person or the people are just too far out of resonance and the message of the connection is it's done. The message was learn to set boundaries. The message was learn to say that's not okay. The message was stand up for yourself, have more self-worth, have more self-love, speak your truth. And so that particular relationship brought those messages in. They were received by the person that they were intended for. So now that relationship is no longer needed. It's not fulfilling anything else. It's not shifting and recalibrating into that alignment at that new flow rate. So that happens as well. Work changes because you all of a sudden are really in touch with your heart. And once you become really in touch with your heart, you have to actually learn how to balance it with your head because you've been living in your head the majority of your life. Then you go through spiritual awakening and all of a sudden you're completely in your heart. And yet you're still human and you have a human life to live and conduct. And so there's a balance that you're giving yourself the opportunity to learn how to be and do. And that's the balance and the harmony and the coherent alignment of your heart and your head. And that's how you create your field, which is how you create your reality. So work can change because in the head, you will have ideas of what fits your life and what you need to do and what is expected of you. And then you start coming into the heart connection and in that spiritual awakening journey. And all of a sudden, you're remembering who you are at a deeper, more sacred level, and passion and purpose are rising. And so, a lot of times, the jobs we hold that we're doing because we are fulfilling a mandate in a sense. It was like, this is what you're supposed to do with your life, A, B, C, or D. And so then all of a sudden, A, B, C, or D are just like, wah, wah. They're just not hitting it for you because the heart is saying, come home, come home, come home. And so there's a really tricky little space in spiritual awakening with the way work shifts for a lot of people. Some people, they don't do well with the giving it time and kind of easing themselves into their purpose and their passion, and they just like drop it like it's hot and they're just like, I'm out of here. And you'll hear all these stories of people who have been in the corporate world for 20 some years and they walked away. They're like, I'm done. They have left the building. And then some, and then they go through this whole space a lot of the time, not all of the time, but a lot of the time of trying to figure out how to be who they are and support themselves financially and all of these things. And they learn how to work with their field more and their creative flow more, heart, brain coherence and passion, purpose. For some people, it's a jump and just figure out how to swim along the way. And for others, it's like, I have to ease myself out of one and ease myself into the other. So, and there's always in betweens as well. So wherever you're at, it's fine. There's no one specific way to spiritually awaken and navigate your career space and work path. I mean, there's just so many ways to do it. So allow the way that works for you. And if you're not sure what works for you, trying certain ways that feel more comfortable and then editing and adjusting as you go is normal. It's great. It's perfect. So I personally had a job for 17 years and it was very regular. Like I sold a construction product. I was very good at it and I made very good money and I was very good at building my clientele and all of that. But it just definitely wasn't like the purpose of my life, my heart. I wasn't like feeling like I was fulfilling some passion of mine. And my story, I'm not going to go down there. You've heard it probably on a lot of my other podcasts, but I reset myself. I brought myself a lot of wake up moments to get me out of where I was. And for me, it was fairly abrupt, I would say. Like within just a few months, I went from the 17-year job to it was done. And I did dabble in real estate a little bit after that because it was another go-to that everybody said was normal, right? That was like a more normal thing, like, oh, why don't you try real estate? Okay. And I like did really well. I passed the test right away, got my license, and I was going to do it. But all the while in the back of my head and like, the center of my heart, I was kind of like walking myself into what I do now, which is basically this. I teach classes, I teach courses, I've written several books now, I do speaking engagements, I hold destination events, and I help people reset themselves to their most optimal life and live that optimal life. I'm an energy healer, I'm a master teacher, I'm a seer, I'm a higher dimensional being of light in human form here to assist humanity. I'm many things. But when I was awakening spiritually, mine was happening over a very long span of time. I began awakening probably in 2006. Mine was medical induced, like my body was screaming at me. And then in 2017, I left, I was no longer in my job that I had for 17 years. And I started the real estate thing. And within 1 year, I was not doing that anymore. And I was stepping into the beginnings of this work I do here with sacred expansion and Acasma quantum energy. And now I'm international and I am fully self-supportive and I'm happier than I've ever been in my whole life. And I feel so fulfilled and I'm following my passion and the feedback I get from my clients and my students is just mind blowing to know that you're impacting in such a positive way. It's just incredible. There's no words really. That changed because I changed. That work space of my life reset itself, recalibrated itself energetically to match me because I had reset how I saw myself and how I saw the world around me and my interaction with that, my space in that, my connection with that. And as all of that changed inside of me, all of my outer reflection, family, work, friends, all started resetting and recalibrating in really big ways. And so that's just what happens because it's all energy. It's all energy. It's all resonance. It's all frequency. It's all alignment. And it's all beautiful. And we're always safe and we're always loved and we're always taking ourselves right where we need to go, no matter where we're at in the spiritual awakening process. And you don't wake up and then you're just like, okay, that was my wake up and I'm done waking up. You are always, I am always, we are always waking up to the next space of us because we're so vast, it's incomprehensible who we are. Yes. And so as we begin to allow that more and more, that opens up more and more. And it's always, always opening. Because remember how we started this conversation out and we said how it's all one consciousness in a bunch of variation points over dimensions and reality lines and parallel realities and universes and, all these reference points that we try so hard to name and identify. And we're pretty good at it. And we've got a decent, understanding. But in all fairness, the enormity of us is incomprehensible. The vastness of us is it's beyond our minds. And so when we have one increment of expansion in one space of the us that we are, the core origin points of us shift as well. So we will never, ever, ever catch ourselves. We will never, ever catch ourselves. So there's some tips and tools that I would share with you, just a few, that'll give you some assistance if you need it, okay? Because I know spiritual awakening, no matter where you're on the journey at, tips and tools are so helpful. And sometimes, we can have massive awakening and kind of be riding some really cool waves of bliss. And then all of a sudden we have another awakening shake-up point, but it doesn't hit the same way. It doesn't feel or be registered exactly the same way because we're learning every single time. And so we're riding the waves a little differently every single time. We're getting a little bit of a more mastery, a skill level of awakening, right? But you can still reuse the tips. You can still go back in and say, oh yeah, let me try that. I'm going to tap into that tool because that did help. And it might even help faster the next time if you need to use it again. Tips and tools to assist your journey of change. One of them is a golden light visual. That's very, very easy to do. It can seem very simple, but it's profound. And so what you're going to do is when you need to, as you need to, if you need to, you can do it with your eyes open. Like if it's like total necessity and you're like, you get off work and you're driving in your car and you're like, oh my God, I feel like I'm coming out of my skin. Like energy's moving so fast. The energy's so big. There's just so much change happening in my life right now. And you just need to do it like point blank. You can absolutely do it with your eyes open. But if you're able to like take a moment to like get into a really safe, secluded space, like maybe, your bedroom or you're sitting in your closet or your living room if you're alone and it's quiet. But I know we have a lot of different family makeup and lifestyle makeups. And so some people have kids running around or pets running around or busy households in some way or noisy outsides, whatever it is. So if you're able to find a quiet space, that's optimal, and close your eyes. But if you can't, just do it, like make it work. Does that make sense? Make it work. Do it. Don't like not do it. Don't put it off because you're like, I'll do it when I can, blah, blah, blah. If you keep putting it off, you're better off just doing it as you can. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so the golden light visual, eyes open or eyes closed. Yes. You're going to allow your breath nice and slow, nice and deep. Let your body relax and drop on your exhale. And you're going to envision, you're going to see, you're going to imagine, you're going to intend, whatever works for you, a golden circle of light, a golden sphere of light right inside the heart, the center of your chest. And that's a connection point to your I am, to your essence, to your origin. Yes. Allow your breath, please. Feel the body relax. Feel the body dropping on the exhale. Feel the body grounding on the exhale, and allow one more breath. And as you're breathing in, you're imagining that golden light in the center of your chest. And as you breathe out, the light gets bigger and bigger and bigger. and it moves out all directions equally, left, right, up, down, all around your entire human body. Beautiful golden sphere of light with you inside. Breathe. Let the body drop. In my work, this is an Acasma Sacred Heart Reconnection blessing.
Yes.
And we're blessing your reconnection of your I am, which is your spirit, within your vessel. Just allow your breath. Allow that golden sphere of light all around your body. Allow that peace and balance to flow through the form, feeling the shoulders drop, feeling the neck relax, the face relax. There's clearing going on in the chest, both breasts, man and woman. The chest is clearing now. Just allow. The mother line is clearing now. Just allow. The separation is clearing and healing now. The I am is expanding. Your I am is expanding in your now, in your form, and you're blessing the biological makeup of you. So your nervous system is resetting right now to understand itself as whole, as safe, as loved, as nurtured, as protected, and as cared for. Fight and flight is being healed. Breathe, please. Some of you, this is very emotional. It's okay. Let the emotions flow. Engage yourself, embrace yourself, welcome yourself home. You are feeling your I am.
Yes.
You are feeling the connection of the divine within your form. You are never alone, Holy One. You are surrounded by love. Breathing, please. Yes, beautifully done. And just allow the space. Just allow your breath. There's clearing going on in the neck, inflexibility, having to have it your way, getting frustrated with others because they don't say what you say, think what you think, do what you do, the way you want them to. You're letting that go. You're opening up your mind and your heart to the understanding of a million ways to wash the dishes, and that's okay. No attachment, no judgment, presence, peace. You're choosing peace right now. You're choosing peace. Breathing, please. Beautifully done. Blessing the anchoring of this, blessing your root lines, blessing the grounding of this, blessing the body's ability to process, assimilate, and be you. If you feel too, as you close this exercise, you would put your hands together in prayer position in front of your heart, gently, slowly.
Yes.
Allow a breath, nice and slow, nice and deep. Slowly bow forward. You're acknowledging the divinity within all, and then back upright, the divinity within you. Beautifully done. And just open your eyes when you're ready, your physical eyes, and you're bringing your focus back to your now. And I love to add this with any exercises I do with clients, students. I say that when you bring the focus back, and some of you, you may want to stay in a little longer, that's fine. But when you bring the focus back, you want to take a moment to kind of look around your space, wherever you're at, your car, your house, your work, nature, whatever. Look around for a moment and just allow your acknowledgement. The vibration of my space is new. Just think it, and that gives it the ability, the opportunity to be new. Just focus on that for 1 minute, and that gives it the ability, the opportunity to show up new. The vibration of my space is new. It's a really big clearing going on right now on the back. So across the board, if you're listening to me right now and you're hearing me right now, you're releasing some things from your past right off the center of your back. Some of you can feel that on your back. Just allow your breath. Nice deep breath in. As you exhale, think, intend, speak. I let it go. Beautifully done. I can feel you do that. Just let it go. Good job. Good job. And you can say that again as you feel you need to, as the time passes. Just allowing that now and then with no attachment on yourself or judgment on yourself or others, and just stating, confirming, I let it go. I let it go. I let it go. And you can also take a minute to acknowledge the vibration in you is new. So the my vibration is new is another very powerful mastery point that you can initiate. My vibration is new. Feel your vibration, sense your vibration, lean into your vibration.
Yes.
Acknowledge my vibration is new. That's another very powerful tool you have to use. We're confirming and verifying all the time. It's time to master the things we're clarifying and verifying and confirming and make really wise decisions with our energy. So another exercise, and these are a little fast, you can work with them and draw them out over time longer, but I wanted to get them into this podcast here. Another exercise you can do, I call it the I am breath. We teach it in Acasma quantum energy. It's the I am breath. And so you're just going to be breathing nice and slow, nice and deep, but you begin to speak on your breath the words I am as you are breathing. And so there's all different ways to do it. Some people like to have part of it, the saying, coming in on the inhale and part of it on the exhale. Some people like all of the phrase to be on the exhale. But you have to find the flow that works for you, the rhythm that works for you, because how you feel as you do the breath and as you speak the words and you connect into that sacred space of yourself is amplifying what you're doing. So your feelings are amplifying. So here, we're going to do it together a little bit, all right? So just let's try this pace together, and you can switch it up for yourself if you need to. But here we go. Ready? Pause. Breathe again. Your I am is on your breath.
Yes.
Your breath flows through your vessel.
Yes.
As long as you are breathing, your I am is with you.
Yes.
When you are not breathing in this vessel any longer, your I am is still with you, but you are traveling, if you will, to the next space of you. Your breath is the I am. Breathe.
Yes.
Just allow that breath.
Yes.
Just allow your breath, Holy One. just allow the space.
Yes.
Just allow the space.
Yes.
And you can allow that anytime, anywhere, and do it as long as you need to. It is an incredible anchoring, grounding, shifting, clearing, expanding exercise, energetic connection of your I am in your now. And all of this is to assist that I am landing and expanding as you are allowing your remembrance. There's one additional tip I could give you. If spaces of your old everyday life pop in at times like echoes, and you may think to yourself, I thought I cleared this, I thought I healed this, I thought I dealt with this. I love to say they're just a little echo, and the energy's still clearing a little bit, and there's a resonance in there a little bit coming in for you, designed by you, by me, to have us be able to confirm our alignment. Are we who we were, or are we who we are now? Did we awaken, or are we still asleep? And if the echoes show up, if the old experiential spaces pop in, a tool I use and have for years is I say, I think, I intend, I master the moment. When the echo shows up, I say, that is a timeline I no longer align with. I very matter-of-factly confirm to the field, to the system of creation, to universe, to God, to source, to myself, to the I am, to the divine. I confirm that's a timeline I no longer align with. It's a very powerful tool. It seems simple, but you are the director of your energy. You are the master of the design. That's a timeline I no longer align with. Allows the notation to go out that you're in a new space of resonance. You're in a new space of flow. All right. I lay this at your feet. I hope it was helpful. I have enjoyed being this space with you. Thank you so much for being it with me. And I will see you next time. Thank you, Holy Ones. Blessings on your nows. Blessings.